Hello friends, Bendy here, and today we will be talking about Pizzeria Simulator. The end of a chapter. The end of the Afton family. Before we start this, please note that all of the footage and the music I use in this video is not mine, and all of it will be placed in the description below if you want to check some of it out for yourselves. Alright, let's stop wasting time and let's get started. To be honest, this is a game I barely have any knowledge on, unlike the other 5 games. This, however, doesn't mean I didn't stop to understand the game and what secrets it hides. And oh boy, there is so much in this game that it's just insane to think about. My reasoning behind this is that the game is like the origins to everything. The origins of the puppet, and Susie, and the motive of Henry to make the pizzeria and salvage all the remaining animatronics that were left. The reasoning behind all the games, and William's motive to kill. The proof is all there in the game. Our first evidence on our list is the death of Charlie Emily. In the security puppet minigame, we are tasked to watch our assigned child, and the first 2 rounds we do just that. Now, that is until we reach the 3rd round when we see that there is a child outside in the rain. We try our best to get out of the box, but it is too late. And as we see the puppet go outside, we see that the puppet is breaking down to the rain to save the child. But to no avail, it was too late, as we see the child dead in the alleyway. In the final moments of the minigame, we see the puppet comfort the dead child as the puppet finally breaks down from the rain, and then the minigame ends. This is one of the saddest minigame endings in the series. It gave more background behind the Fnaf 2 minigame with the purple car, and gave a whole new view of what happened that day. And if that wasn't bad enough, we get the Susie minigame. The story is about a young girl being sad after the passing of her dog, and we see this as we play the minigame and see flowers and dead dogs everywhere. Then, in the final round, we see Afton in his disguise behind Susie, and when we run out of time, we see her death commence. We see Afton lying to the young girl, saying, "Your dog is not dead, he's still alive, follow me." Then, the minigame ends. The story behind this is just cruel. After manipulating a young girl and using her dead dog as bait to lure her and kill her is just dark to think about. Then, we have the Candy Cadet stories. These stories will only happen if you get really lucky with Candy Cadet, so if you haven't heard any of these stories, I will play them now and put the link in the description below so you can hear them yourself. So, here it is.
Now I will tell you a story. A story about a kind man who would visit 5 orphans and bring them toys and gladness. The man lived alone, and lived in fear that someone might break into the house of one of the 5 children, so he adopted all 5, and brought them together in one place, in his own home. He promised them to never leave them, and they promised to always come home, and never stay out too late. He left one day to buy food, his heart being filled with gladness, but returned to find that the burglar had chosen his home, and killed all 5 of the children. The man could only afford one coffin, so he stitched the 5 bodies together to make one, and buried the child. That night, there was a knock at the door. Now I will tell you a story about a little boy. He had a red snake that he kept in a metal cage, whose hunger could not be satisfied. One day, the boy found 5 baby kittens outside his house. He brought them inside and kept them in a shoebox. He knew that the snake might kill them, but could not bring himself to get rid of the snake. He knew that if he chose one kitten to feed to the snake, it might be satisfied, but he could not choose. So, he went to bed, leaving the cage open. The snake went to the shoebox, chose a kitten at random, and ate it. After 5 nights had gone by, the boy was full of regret, and cut snake open. He pieced the remains together, and put the kitten back into the shoebox. Now I will tell you a story about a young woman who was sealed in a small room. In the room was a furnace, and 5 keys. She was told that each of the 5 keys would unlock one of 5 doors outside her room. Inside each room was a child that she could take with her as she fled the building. But she was only allowed to leave her own room with one key, not all 5. Desperate to find a way to save all 5 children, the woman melted the 5 keys together in the furnace to create a single key, hoping it would unlock all 5 doors. Of course, it did not work that way. Now her key opened none of the doors. Rather than leaving her room with a key to 1 life, she had taken with her the key to 5 deaths.
In summary, we have what is the motive for the game from the story, or from the stories I should say. 5 things make 1 new thing. Going back to the old line of "I will put you back together" from Fnaf 4. This also goes back to what Scott said when he crashed the stream of game theory. 5 games, 1 story. That story being the story of the Aftons and their demise. This is their story and we see it all end after so long. Then, lastly, we have the regret of Henry helping Afton. We see this when you buy the egg archive and place it, and then when you do that, the computer turns from green to blue when you go into your office, and then we hear this.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create, as if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough, the loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this. He set some kind of trap. I don't know what it was, but he led them there again. He overpowered them again, and he robbed them of the only thing that they had again. I don't know how those tiny breaths of life came to inhabit those machines, but they will never find rest now, not like this. I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
This secret shows just how Henry is just filled with guilt for helping Afton and trying to stop him, but it never works out. This is just sad to think about when you put it in perspective. A man trying to stop the monster that started everything only to fail time and time and time again. That would drive any man into insanity. Now, that's all I have to say for this topic, but to sum it all up, every question that the community had about the story of the games, they were answered just from this one game. Well, most of them. Okay, on to the next one. To better understand this game, we have to go back to Sister Location, to the secret ending. This secret ending gave a view on who we were playing as the whole game of Sister Location, that being Michael Afton. Then, in between of FNAF 6, both Michael and Henry, the founder of Fazra Entertainment and William Afton's old business partner, they both come up with the idea to try and lure any remaining souls that have not been put out to rest. That includes Circus Baby or Elizabeth Afton, Ennard or Molten Freddy, containing the souls of Ballora, Funtime Foxy, and Funtime Freddy, the Puppet or Charlie Emily, and of course, William Afton himself. As the week progresses, we salvage everyone, and then on Saturday, the big day, as they say, both Henry and Michael light the place up and they take everyone down with them, thus ending the Afton story in Pizzeria Simulator. Now, there is a theory out there that Michael went to every location to help to put the kids' souls to rest and to help fix his family's sins. This theory is supported when we see he gets fired on Night 7 in FNAF 1, Night 7 in FNAF 2 on his first night, and we also see this theory being supported when we see Michael go back to Sister Location even after getting kidnapped in Night 4. We also see this when Baby keeps repeating to Michael, "You won't die." And Michael getting back up after Ennard left his soul, or his body, I suppose, my fault, proving that he was there for the sole purpose of finding his sister. Now, I'm not sure if he started the fire in FNAF 3, but my theory is that, like FNAF 2 with Night 7, when we see the night guard gets fired on his first night, Michael goes to the FNAF 3 location for one night only and burns it down in Night 6. I could be wrong about this, so don't take my word for this. I repeat, do not take my word for this. It's just a theory I just have. This is what I can say, though, for the lore of Michael. Michael trying to fix everything that his father had messed up is remarkable. Trying to pay his debt after what happened to his little brother, his sister, and see that his whole family has slowly fallen apart because of his father's choices, but also some of his own. I hope we get a better understanding on why Michael tortured his brother in FNAF 4. Until then, though, we will have to just wait and see. Now, on to the next one. Now, you know I had to talk about this. Did you honestly think I would forget about the greatest ending in the entire series? Ha! No, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then allow me to explain. What I'm about to show you is the most memorable ending cutscene in FNAF. Now, if you want to watch it for yourselves, go ahead and check the description below so you can watch it there. Now, sit back, relax, and watch as the end of every tragedy burned away.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole, so don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Henry's speech was one of the most saddest endings you would see in this franchise. The speech about the kids just being trapped in an endless thirst of vengeance and never realize that they are just trapped by their own obsession of killing the man that took their lives. This showed how Henry and Michael did everything to get everyone there so they could end it all and set everyone free once for all. Then, to hear Henry say his goodbyes to his daughter and sorry for not being there to save her when she needed to be saved. This game was meant to set everyone free and pay their debt. Henry for not saving Charlie, Michael fixing his father's choices to bring peace between him and his brother he didn't mean to kill in FNAF 4. A final gift to us, Thank you, Scott. If you ever find this video, I just want you to know that you made these last few years truly special for the community and for me. You made something that will go down as the greatest franchise in the history of gaming. You inspired so many enemy, and you made these games that were truly polished and with care. Something that most game developers don't do these days. I will never forget that, the memories you gave us all. Thank you, Scott, for everything. Now, that's all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you want more videos like this, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Alright, take care and remember that I will see you all in the next one, and thank you, Scott, once again for everything you have done for this franchise. Alright, take care and stay safe.